Bookish friends, today I'm going to do a tag video which was created by Naomi at Naomi's Bookshelf, my long-term body reading partner and also a very good friend of mine. She graciously tagged me in her original video. The name of the tag is This is Jeopardy book tag. She created this tag in honor of Alex Trebek, who passed away in November 2020 and who has been a host of this game show for 37 years. Although I'm a bit late to do this tag, I really wanted to do it as soon as I saw it. Because the tag has many interesting questions. The questions of this tag are influenced by the categories in This is Jeopardy game show, but Naomi included a bonus question which is called The Host, because of course Alex Trebek was the host of the game show. A narrator you love. For this question, I'm going to talk about a book that I finished very recently. I really liked the voice of Jane in Austenland by Shannon, Hale. She was witty and she had a way of thinking mostly very similar to mine, and I really enjoyed her voice while reading this book. And the following questions are the categories. The first one is before and after. A combination of two titles. In this question, we try to combine two titles to make another book title. Fortunately, I could find book titles in my recent reads which would fit quite good, I think. 13 Problems When Comes the Spring. 13 Problems is the short story collection of Agatha Christie, and When Comes the Spring is the second book in a Canadian West series which was written by Janette. The second category is science, a book that made you react. Unbroken by Lauren Hillenbrand. The scenes about prisoner of wars in Japanese camps in World War II were a bit hard to read. I was like, oh, what am I reading? This is so sad, and how could they survive these cruelties? So I was really upset when I was reading those parts, but the book was incredibly good. For literature, we are going to talk about our current read. I'm going to talk about the book that I'm currently body reading with Naomi, actually. Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. This is a very famous work by the French author. And it's an action-adventure book which follows, actually not three, but four musketeers. Category 4, American History. A book that embodies your culture, because the game show was founded in America. One of the categories was American history, as far as I understood. But Naomi wanted us to talk about our own culture, our own country. She talked about Canada, of course, in her tag. And I will talk about a book that embodies the Turkish culture in my video. I'm going to talk about a short story collection again. Kız Kulesi'ndeki Kızılderili, which can be titled as Native in the Girl Tower, which is a very famous tower in Istanbul. I will put the picture here. Sunay Akın is both a writer and a performance in which she talks about many anecdotes from the Turkish culture. But Turkish culture, meaning the Anatolian culture, the culture before the Ottoman Empire, during the Ottoman Empire, during the foundation of the Turkish Republic, and during very recent years. So I think his variety of anecdotes from many different time periods really projects the multicultural aspects of the Turkish society in Anatolia, because although we live in the same country and we share the same core beliefs, our cultures are very different in regions. That's what I like the most about Turkey, because you can always find something that would surprise even a woman who has lived in Turkey all of her life. The fifth category is Potpourri, a book that had everything thrown at it. I'm going to talk about another book that I'm currently reading, Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This is a mixture of genres. There are many tropes of different genres in the book. First of all, I think it's mainly a historical fiction book because it talks about the time period of the Scottish uprising. It's also science fiction because there's a time travel element, and Claire time travels back to those times from 1946, I think. And there is, of course, an element of romance, which sometimes seems like the main plot twist at times. So it's a very successful mixture of genres. Question 6. World history. A book about a different culture than yours. I could have put most of the books that I've read in this question, but I'm going to talk about a book this time about American culture, This Austenland by William Kent Kruger. This book talks about the adventures of four orphans who are trying to reach their aunt living in St. Louis, but during this adventure they encounter many different aspects of the American culture during 1930s. It was a very emotional book, as well as very informative about that time period. Category 7. Word origin. A translated book. I chose a book written by a Mexican writer, Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. This is also a mixture of genres. It's a historical fiction book with elements of magical realism as well as romance. I really like this book, and I have a dedicated from pages to screen video about this book. 8th category is colleges and universities. The best book you read in school. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This book is one of my top 3 favorite books of all time. And when I read it in school, I loved it. When I reread it as a 30-year-old woman, I loved it again. Although I identified with different characters, mainly Atticus in the second time. I think it's a very engaging book which talks about social injustices and racism during a child's eyes. My best friend recently read it and said, wow, this book was wonderful. So I'm really glad that this book is beloved by many. Question 9. History. Your favorite time period to read about? I'm actually going to say the same time period with Naomi. Before watching her video, I did not know that we share the love for the same time period. I really like reading about the time period between two World War wars, 1920s and 1930s actually. First of all, I like how the view and the culture of the society changed through time. After World War I, from the rising of the Bohemian culture to the Great Crisis, the prohibition of alcohol, and also in my country the foundation of the Turkish Republic, and so many very influential things happened in those decades. I think there are many mysteries written in that era, which I am very excited to read more from. And the last category is sports. A fast-paced book. I'm going to talk about The Origin by Dan Brown. This is so far the last entry into Robert Langdon's series, which is a kind of like a thriller series written by Dan Brown. Robert Langdon is an art professor, but somehow he finds himself in middle of many political intrigues and worldwide conspiracies sometimes. And the reason that I chose this book because Robert Langdon always runs away from something. So our main character is also going in a fast pace, and of course Dan Brown's books are very fast paced and easy read. And additionally, I like his descriptions of place and space, and all of the buildings and all of the historical buildings very much. So that's why, although it has many cliches, I really like Dan Brown books in general. So those were my answers for This is Jeopardy book tag. I'm going to tag 3 of my friends. Janelle, at too fond of books. I think she might be able to find a mystery book for every question. She's the mystery queen of booktube for me. I get many recommendations from her. And then I'm going to tag Jenn at Remembered Reads. I think because she reads mostly non-fiction, she will find many interesting books for the categories for this question. And then I will tag Courtney at Courtney Ferriter. And of course I'm going to tag anybody who wants to do this tag, because this is such a great tag for finding different books. Please comment down below if you have any suggestions for the first category, the 2 titles. I really would like to know the combination of titles. If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. For Turkish word of the day, since late Alex Trebek was the host of the game show, I thought host should be the word of the day. Host means ev sahibi in Turkish, and ev sahibi is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.